Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Well, the drivers of the Tobacco Road Sim Racing Next Gen Series are strutting in to what is my home race. Yes, sir, in the booth here. I am a Kentucky boy. It is true. I'm like Jack Harlow. I'm like Abraham Lincoln. I'm also like Donovan Mitchell. So, it's only right that we bring you an elite series here at Kentucky. Ladies and gentlemen, my name, as always, is Mac Nelson. Joining me in the booth tonight is broadcast partner Emmett Crow. We are part of Racer Nexus Broadcast. So glad you guys could invite us into your home. Probably a cool home if you're from the Mid-South or Midwest with all of this, or Northeast, I should say, with all of this snow and ice storm going around. Emmett, are you surviving? How you doing?
Well, I'm getting by, and it's a great welcome. Thank you, Mac. It's going to be a great race tonight. But yeah, just like you were saying, it's been kind of topsy-turvy. You lose track of days. Like today, me and my wife are in the car, and I was talking to my mom. We were talking about my old high school. They're going to a basketball tournament up north. And I said, I was talking to her. I said, how are y'all going to do that? And then come back. And she said, well, we're going. And then I was thinking today was Friday. And then I remembered today's only Wednesday. But great to be with you tonight, Mac. And ready to see some great racing in the Tobacco Road Next Gen Series.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's going to be a good one. 135 laps here tonight. If you're not familiar, bottom right of your screen will be the season info. That should say week 3 of 20. That's on me. I always get one little piece of info wrong. That's on me. I apologize. We are at Kentucky. We are doing 135 laps here tonight. Next week, we'll be getting a little bit of road course action in. We will be going to the great, iconic, and prestigious Watkins Glen for round number 4 of 20 here in the Tobacco Road Sim Racing Next Gen Series. And while we've got all these beautiful cars on the grid, we'll go over your starting lineup here for our race tonight. Pole position is going to be Travis Everett with GT Irizarry in P2. Nate Lesko in that Nesquik going to be in P3 with Brad Harris in P4. John Smith and James McRae are going to make up row number 3. James McRae picking up a win last week at Iowa. Row number 4 is going to be Scott Meadows with Casey Gross in at P8. P9 is going to be defending champion Gary Brayland with John Oliverio in P10. Michael Peden, Curtis Preston going to round out row number 6. Row number 7, James Johnson, Chad Lancaster in the 02. P15, Brandon Lopez. P16, the 81 of Brandon McLaughlin. Row 9 is going to be Christopher Toppings. P18, Joe Bonner, part of LNG Power Sports. P19, Cody Adams. P20, Scott Broker. P21 is going to be Thomas McLaughlin, with P22 being Chris Perry. P23, Blake Cannon. Johnny Thunders in that classic 60 Mustang in P24. And rounding out our grid, the lone wolf In row number 13 is going to be Billy Jordan. We've got a grid here tonight, Mr. Emmett. We've got, yeah, this is going to be a very, and I mean very exciting race here tonight. What do you think? What's going to happen here?
Well, I was talking to some of the drivers earlier, as like our pole setter Travis Everett and Chris Perry and some other Scott Matthews, and they were telling me tire wear, and then they said just keep an eye. They said turn 3 and turn 4 are going to be crazy, so we'll keep an eye on that. But Mac, I'm expecting a lot of horsepower tonight at Kentucky.
Yeah, it's going to be a great one, and as the iRacing official pace car takes off, Travis Everett, who was a very big contender for the championship last season, can he get something done here this season? We are green at Kentucky. Well, Emmett, you said it was going to be a whole lot of horsepower, so we had to crank it up for that opening lap, and Travis Everett off to an amazing start here as we pull up your Racer Nexus timing tower there on the left. Whole lot of positions changing. And we have, and we've got a yellow flag out already, lap number 2. We'll have to go back and take a look at who exactly that was. The event tower isn't crediting anyone for that. We'll do the classic. Ooh, it looks like it might have been Scott Matthews there. He's got a little bit of a problem there on that number 7, I believe it is. Yes, sir, number 7. Getting into the 99 off this depot car.
Wow,
and it's
look at that.
Yeah, just a little bit of damage. I mean, props to Scott Matthews for... Oh, well, never mind. Okay, I was going to say props to Scott Matthews for being able to catch it, but unfortunately, that's going to be a very heavy wall collision, and that's not going to be good for that next-gen car.
Yeah, not going to be good, but I just want to add, looks like Chris Perry was coming off pit road. And looking at this now, Mac, it's showing that he's a lap down. So I wonder what happened to Chris Perry, because I saw him out of the corner of my eye after I saw Scott Matthews getting loose. I saw Perry coming off pit road in that Carolina Panthers machine, so I wonder what happened there.
It looks to me like Chris Perry might have just started the race in the pits. I mean, this is at the drop of the green flag right here. You see Chris Perry almost starting that car, spinning his tires to go off. Maybe he might have just missed a grid. And if that's the case, that's going to be a very, very bold error in the face of Chris Perry.
Well, I thought I saw him on the, like when they were coming to the start, I thought I saw him on the track, but who knows?
I thought I did too, but that Carolina Panthers scheme, they got pretty unlucky out in the playoffs. Chris Perry getting unlucky here, but he's getting that wave around. Passing everyone on the high side. He will get at least one of those laps back. He might be on the lead lap. Yeah, I guess he should be on the lead lap. So no harm, no foul. Chris Perry just in the back. He started P22 anyway, or that's where he qualified, I should say. So not too much of a disparity there, but everybody got a little bit of a chance to kind of shake off those first lap jitters, get accustomed to things, get warm, and now, do you think they're going to, take the gloves off?
That's what I'm wondering. And then another thing, the Chick-fil-A machine driven by, let's see, who is that? The 47 of John Smith. He was pulling on the apron before they started, and he started outside pole, didn't he?
Yeah. No, John Smith started in P5, so that is where he started. Yeah.
Okay.
So he has stayed in the same spot through this first little bit of caution, so he has not moved up or down. But luckily for these drivers, the temperature of both the air and the track is going to go down. This is a night race. We're under the lights here at Kentucky Speedway. We've got a nice and warm 77 degrees Fahrenheit. I know that's not realistic because me, as a Kentucky liver myself, woke up to about 9-degree temperatures this morning, so just a little bit off from iRacing, but it's all good. Track temperature is going to be 77 degrees as well. We've got a little bit of clouds in the sky, not like it's really going to matter. Humidity is going to be 45%, so not too much humidity in the air. It's not really something that affects these oval cars a whole lot. If you were to get, into the 95, 100% humidities and you're on a big track like the Nordschleife, if you go across to Germany, that is where you are going to see the most disadvantageous effects of high humidity inside of a race car. But here we are pretty good.
Well, the thing is, Mac, with these cars compared to, the GT3s or, those IMSA cars, the humidity actually helps the downforce. So it kind of helps you with the downforce, and being on this 1.5 miles, that could help just a little bit, give you that little advantage.
Yep, I do agree. And the iRacing pace car is off. Travis Everett has the button again. He's going to pull it extremely late this time. Kind of went for a little bit of an earlier start on our initial start, but he's letting them get bunched up, taking it late. As we see the 47 of John Smith there. He is in P5, battling for that P4 spot. Travis Everett just looking. We've got a very small sample size here tonight, but Travis Everett has looked extremely good through, the minimal corners we've taken so far. So I'm interested to see if tonight might be his night.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting for sure. And, Travis Everett, if we see GT Arizari coming up there, but Travis Everett, it seems like he's ran good, but just caught up in those late race wrecks.
Yeah, GT Irizarry there, unfortunately, going to not have the best of luck when it comes to these Tobacco Road Sim Racing Next Gen Series races. The Summerville, South Carolina driver, as we have another yellow flag out here coming on lap number 8. Joe Bonner looking to be stopped up just a little bit. And we might be able to see something go down here towards the back of the pack, maybe. Oh, yeah, and that's going to be the white 22. Yeah, that's going to be Joe Bonner, owner of LNG Power Washing, getting into the Jimmy John's 29 of Curtis Preston, I believe. Go back and take a look. We don't want to look at Scott Broker, unfortunately. We'll look at you a little later here, Scott Broker. I apologize. But yeah, Joe Bonner, Curtis Preston, unfortunately, not able to keep their cars completely clean from that. And, while we've got you here, might as well take a time to advertise LNG's Power Washing, owned by Joe Bonner out of Millersburg, Pennsylvania. You can see their business card right there. If you have any questions, you can contact Joe Bonner, LNG's Power Washing LLC. Happy for them to hop on board the booth here and sponsor a little bit for this Tobacco Road Sim Racing Series. And I also wanted to let you guys know, or sorry, Emmett, I'll let you go here in just a second. This race, in a sort of last-minute fashion, has been deemed the Dumpster Fire 200. We are doing 135 laps around here at Kentucky Speedway, 50% fuel. This is the Tobacco Road Cup Series. 4 sets of tires for our race here tonight. I got a special request to let it be known that this is the Dumpster Fire 200, so that is what you are currently tuned into on the Racer Nexus broadcast channel. And while we've got you guys here, quick little side note. Gotta get the bag up. Shout out to Apex Sim Racing. If you need any, and I mean any, sort of sim racing accessories. That can be wheels, that can be bases, that can be pedals, it can be monitors, it can be chassis, it can be seats, it can be anything you want for your sim rig. Go to Apex Sim Racing, use code RACERNEXUS for 5% off, get a little bit of a kickback off your deal. It would support us and the channel and the network very, very much. So we appreciate everybody who uses that code. Also, big shout out to Track Cams for Gourmets. That's trackcams22.com. They provide all the car and track cameras here that you see on our broadcast and all of the Racer Nexus broadcast that you might tune into. So big shout out to those two for hopping on board. Lights are out on the pace car. I'm sorry I held you for like 2 minutes, Emmett. What'd you have to say?
All I was gonna say was, how many times do you think we mentioned LNG power washing during that Daytona race?
Right, a good bit. It was definitely a good bit. You know, that race, unfortunately, not one of the most climactic races, as you see the low growl, or not see, you hear the low growl of those cars coming across turn number 2. Lights are out on the pace car, so we will be going green here shortly. Travis Everett in that lead. There is a lane choose rule in this league. Travis Everett has chose to go that top lane. If you're a League of Legends player, hearing me say top lane in a racing sense is going to feel very, very off. And I'm sorry, that's just how my brain is wired. You know, that third line, the high line up there, where the angels sing on the racetrack. The iRacing official pace car lights are out. We are about to go green for the third time in 10 laps. Travis Everett, once again, with the button, he will release the hounds onto the Kentucky Speedway here. It's iconic.
Oh.
Travis Everett brushing up against GT Irizarry there for just a little bit before the drop of the green flag. But we are green here again at Kentucky.
Yeah, and look at that. That was a great in-car shot, just showing Travis Everett hitting his shifting points. But look, don't look too far, because here comes GT Irizarry trying to get to that lead.
Yeah, GT doing a fantastic job, and he has been a phenomenal driver here. And like you said towards the top of the broadcast, he is someone who just catches some unlucky flack, and he gets collected in a whole lot of things late in the race. So we're only 3 weeks into a 20-week calendar here. Emmett, what's GT got to do to get himself on the up and up when it comes to that championship standings?
Well, he's just got to, get a good run in to build his confidence back up. And then once you get the confidence, then you feel like you're invincible until you hit the wall again. But the thing is, you just got to get that confidence up that you can go out here and compete with these guys. And he's doing a great job, and right there on the back of Travis Everett. But, Mac, just like I also said, Travis Everett has had some misfortunes in these last few races, especially at Daytona and last season. So it's great to see Travis Everett out here running out front.
Yeah, arguably top 3 when it comes to consistency here in the Tobacco Road Sim Racing Series. Gary Braidlin did beat him to the championship, but it was so very close last season. We got to call that beautiful finale last season. Hopefully we'll make it to the finale this season. Nate Lesko in that number 20 Nez Quick Camry, and boy is he quick. He is someone who puts down heaters every single week, and he has always got a top 5 car. Looking forward to see what Nate Lesko can do here tonight.
Yeah, Nate Lesko out of Queen Creek, Arizona. Just doing a great job, as Irizarry is going to battle for the lead right here.
Yeah, wanting to
Trying to look.
Yeah, he almost looked like he wanted to hit a little bit of a switchback. It might have been a little sketchy, carrying a little too much speed in there. Travis Everett's going to forfeit that optimal line. He's going to wash up a little bit. Now GT Irizarry does have the run. He's going to be able to plant his car on the inside. And when it comes to Kentucky Speedway, those turns 3 and 4, it is very multi-groove. You can find pace at just about every single inch of that corner. But on fresh tires like this, GT Irizarry definitely has the upper hand here, sticking his car to the bottom.
Yeah, he's in the bottom, but the thing was, Everett got such a great run out of turn 3 and 4, and that was how he's able to hold the lead. But now Irizarry is able to take that lead back away, but Travis Everett ain't done yet, back.
Travis Everett is never done, Emmett. That is one thing. If you watch the Tobacco Road Sim Racing Series, you'll know that Travis Everett does not ever give up. And we've got a big crash.
Oh.
I believe that's Blake Cannon. Yes, Blake Cannon in the number 44. He's going to take a little bit of a spill,
wow.
And we stay green.
What a save by Blake Cannon. I mean, that thing was wrecking sideways. I mean, he was spinning out, but he just didn't wreck.
Yeah, we'll see Blake Cannon now coming through the start-finish line. Yeah, he's just going to brush up against that car, and then James McRae, last week's winner, has nowhere to go. He's just going to turn Blake Cannon. But wow, Blake Cannon just able to keep it sideways. Wow, what a save by Blake Cannon. And look, he's taking turns 1 and 2 out of the pit lane sideways. That's just a little icing on the cake. But man, those tires are for sure toast.
Yeah, but that boy must have some dirt racing background, because he was sliding that sucker around there, and just great throttle control to, not panic. And be able to save that. What a save by Blake Cannon.
Yeah, very, very good driving from him. Back up to the front. GT Irizarry is still leading here. He overtook Travis Everett, who now sits in P4. He overtook Travis a few laps ago. But now it is all GT Irizarry, as he's got Nate Lesko and John Smith behind him. John Smith in that number 47 Chick-fil-A Camaro. One of the prettiest liveries out here on the grid, even though it is kind of a Chick-fil-A shill. I'm not going to judge the man too hard. I think Chick-fil-A personally is a bit overrated. More of a Popeyes guy myself, but I can respect a clean-looking car anywhere I see it, and the livery on the 47 is clean.
Yeah, definitely. And I just want to add about Nate Lesko. In the Moonlight Racing League, he took home the checker flag at Iowa, so congrats to Nate Lesko when he was running the 905 Nesquik machine. So already got a win on his belt and trying to get another one here at Kentucky.
Yeah, without a doubt. And we've got Brendan McLaughlin here, who is another car that we typically see towards the front. Not too good of a qualifying, though. He qualified P16. Has moved his way into P6, so that 81 Mustang looking to do some damage here as we get about a fourth of the way through this race.
Yeah, Brandon McLaughlin, rocking the Bills helmet, just signed their head coach. The search is over. They decided to go with Joe Brady.
Yeah, very, very interesting, and I'm sure it's going to pan out. I would hope, anyway. I mean, I'm sure the Bills front office doing their research, they would never blow their franchise away for one guy. Tyrod Taylor, put some respect on his name. But yeah, Brandon McLaughlin in that 81, repping the Bills, and behind him is the number 9 of Brad Harris here. That Quack Pack Racing driver claims he's from Farmville. Weren't we all back in about 2010? But Brad Harris in that number 9 Camaro. And he's a guy, Emmett, who doesn't really put the results on the board very much, but he is always there in contention.
Well, we go back to that Talladega race last year. I mean, he had the thing won, but he just didn't finish across the start-finish line. Actually, he might have won that race. I can't remember. I think he might have won that race, Mac.
Yeah, interesting. Very interesting. I'm not entirely too sure. 2 cars back, you've got Michael Peden, who the number is correct. He is the 24 normally. There was a little bit of a technical difficulty. His number did get switched around to the 14. So that is, something the league guys came and told me. So Michael Peden should be number 24. That should be fixed for next week. But his car still says 24, and he is still flying like Prime Gordon.
Yeah, and it's really cool to see this scheme. Last year running the Pepsi throwback for Jeff Gordon. So it's clear to say who Michael Pedon's favorite driver is.
Yeah, that is for sure. And the 24 is just such an iconic number. I mean, you've got Jeff Gordon, you've got Kobe Bryant, obviously, rest in peace, Kobe Bean Bryant, one of the best to ever do it. And, you know, it
100%.
it just seems like 24 is just a very, you know, goated number, you know, a way to, you know, say it, way the kids can understand. They always call something goated. Other numbers, 32, 3, 23, you know, the like 7 as well. 7's a big number across the pond there in Europe. Cristiano Ronaldo, Eden Hazard, just to name a few. So yeah, Michael Pedon in definitely. P8. Casey Gross two cars away in P6. That Quantum Motorsports driver, he's looking to do good. Sarasota, Florida, he is warm. A lot of the grid probably cannot say that here tonight. Big snowstorm that affects, you know, mostly the Mid-South, Midwest, Northeast. I mean, all the way down into Texas as well. So, you know, I said it at the top of the broadcast, but if you were affected by that, I hope you are A-okay. I hope everything is good. I hope you guys have power. I hope you guys have warmth. I assume if you're tuning in to the Tobacco Road Sim Racing Series, you got to have an internet connection, so I'm sure you guys are doing fine. But I figured I would give my respects, my thoughts, my prayers. Someone who does not need thoughts and prayers, though, is Mr. GT Irizarry. We're hopping on board with him in that number 19 Mustang. I guess, actually, yeah, it's 14. It should be 19. You know, big mix-up, a very big mix-up with the 14, 19, 24. So that's going to be a little off here tonight, but it's going to be fixed for next week. Nate Lesko, however, is approaching very, very fast. John Smith taking a little bit of an unoptimized line behind him. That's going to cost him a few hundredths. But the top four looking pretty in sync, pretty single file right now.
Yeah, definitely single file. And that's the thing about Kentucky. You know, for the long runs, you're going to be single file. But if we get a late race caution and we get an overtime green, white checker, that's when the real show starts. And we saw it back when the old Bush brothers were dueling it out, and it was Kurt who got Kyle on the white flag lap.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I do remember that. Very, very fond memory. I liked Kurt more than I liked Kyle by a long shot. But one of my best friends at the time, Smooth Chase Copeland, who is actually in the World of Outlaws Pro Series for iRacing, so big shout out to Chase there. He was always a Kyle Busch fan growing up, so, you know, me and him would always go back and forth. I was always the Dale Earnhardt Jr. fan. So it was fun, little banter back and forth. And speaking of back and forth, that is exactly what this championship has turned out to be. Apologize for that. We'll get those championship standings right back up for you guys. James McRae is going to lead it with 93 points. Nate Lesko just behind with 87. Brandon Lopez, 86. Jonathan Smith, 85. Travis Everett coming in at P5 with 76 points. Gary Brayland in P9 currently. I know we're only 3 weeks after tonight, but Gary Brayland's got to start picking up the pace just a tiny bit.
Yeah, just got to start picking up the pace right here. And, you know, this could be how it's playing out, though. You know, you're the defending champion. You got the big target on your back. So why not just take it easy a few races and then really turn it up when it's time to go?
Yeah, get the target on someone else's back. But Nate Lesko, more than likely, you know, if things stay how they are right now, Nate Lesko will be moving into that top spot in the championship standings. And it's very, very sentimental as well, because Nate Lesko, when we interviewed him last, he said, you know, I really want to push for a championship in this league. I think I have the pace to do it. And, you know, here we are. Nate Lesko, he is always, I mean, always sitting there in the top 5. He's always got a reason to try. He's always got a reason to try to be the best driver on the grid. And unfortunately, GT Irizarry looks like he might be the king of Kentucky right now. But Nate Lesko, I mean, P2, he is just always there. He's so consistent.
Well, as we see them coming in for their first round of green flag pit stops, that's what I was about to say, Mac. It's going to be interesting to see how these cars handle once they get in the dirty air. We've seen them in clean air, so now we get to see how they're going to handle in the dirty air on this cycle.
Yeah, and I want to remind everybody who is watching, there is going to be a stage break at lap number 58, I believe. That would mean we go green on lap 60. So I do believe it's either going to be, the yellow's either going to be thrown on 58 or 60. I know I saw the message somewhere in the Discord, which, by the way, you can find down in the video link below, or in the video description below, I apologize. Find the link there, and you can join the Tobacco Road Sim Racing Series if you think this might be a cool community or series to be a part of or race in, respectively. So now Casey Gross, who is coming off of pit road, or onto pit lane, I apologize. He was in the lead. He is going to forfeit that. GT Irizarry is going to be your net leader here after everybody takes their pit stop. So he is the guy to watch. Casey Gross in, John Oliverio out, Johnny Thunders out, and we are yellow, actually. And it looks like, unfortunately, the number 9 of Brad Harris, who we talked about a little earlier tonight, he is going to be the driver that has crashed in that number 9. And yeah, unfortunately, he's just going to spin it, come to a dead stop, and he's backing up. That's going to be what throws the yellow. So unfortunately, could have probably stayed green there. Looked like it might have been maybe iRacing official throwing the caution, not a manual race control admin. So we are going to be yellow. Chris Toppings has not stopped yet. I don't believe. His last pit time was 6 seconds. So I'm assuming he's going to come in for tires at some point here. James Johnson also has not stopped. So he is going to have to pull that number 48 Camaro into the pit lane in that Jimmy Johnson throwback scheme. So class. I say it every time. A very wonderful piece of equipment there, piece of machinery. In sim and in real life, I mean, Jimmy Johnson was a beast when he drove.
You know, it's funny going back and hearing Chad and Jimmy talk about, you know, how they made their not cheating as per se, but they made some definitely some ins and rounds around the rules, and it's just funny to hear them, you know, laugh about it now. But yeah, great looking scheme. I believe that's a 2006 scheme, if I'm not mistaken.
Could be. I am not one. I do not have that good of eyes. I can't tell you what year it's from. I just know it's a Lowe's and it's 48, so that means it's got to be old Jimmy. The old 7 time.
Yeah, remember that commercial? I'm Jimmy Johnson. Boom, confetti.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, funny. Very, very funny. GT Irizarry out in first again, taking his rightful spot at the top. All these other guys are going to have to go around once we get past the start-finish line. It's been a fun one here at Kentucky so far, though, Emmett. Who do you think is the standout driver for tonight?
Well, right now, you know, you're thinking GT Irizarry, and that's a good pick because, you know, he's clearly in the lead. But, I mean, James Lesko doing a great job staying on the back. Well, I mean, Nate Lesko. Where did I get James Lesko, Mac? It's this weather. It's messing with me. But Nate Lesko doing a great job. It's going to be interesting between those two. And then it'll be even more interesting to see Travis Everett get back up there and battle with these guys.
Yeah, Travis Everett won't have too far to go. He currently sits in P3, the Belvoir, North Carolina driver. He only has to get past Brandon McLaughlin and GT Irizarry to take that top spot on the podium. We've got a lot of racing, though, left here tonight. Only lap number 40. We've still got about 2/3 of this race to go. And, you know, we're 40 laps in. We've seen a decent amount of green flag runs. And I must say, man, why did NASCAR ever abandon Kentucky, man? This track is legendary.
Yeah, definitely. And it's sad that, you know, Kentucky will be sold for development. Just an iconic track. And I actually saw a video on YouTube. These guys visited, which they didn't know squat about NASCAR, because they were freaking out when they saw a Legends car and thought it was a real NASCAR. But, you know, this track, you know, for so many years, think about the first time winners, you know, Joey Logano, David Gilliland, you know, so many, I believe Stephen Light also. So many first-time winners here. And that's what this track was nicknamed because, you know, back there we had the Bushwhackers in the Bush Series. So when the Cup Series came, you know, it was an unbelievable race. And what a last race to have. Of course, we had Cole Custer win his first race here, driving that 41 machine. And it's just an iconic track, and I hate that it's gone, but I'm glad that it lives on in the legacy of sim racing and iRacing.
Yeah, and of course, and I get on my soapbox about the iRacing official service. It seems like every single time I go live and do one of these broadcasts, but man, it's just so cool that we are now in a day and age where any car, any track from any time period of motorsport, you can pull in some sort of sim, whether it be iRacing, whether it be Assetto Corsa, whether it be BeamNG, whether it be Race Room, whether it be R-Factor. So many places to just be able to shut out the world and drive any car, any time, any track. It's just purely amazing, man.
Well, and it's awesome, you know, we get to see, you know, people running these cup cars at, you know, for say the Monza Oval in Italy, or, you know, running the short track in the late models at Concord, a track that is no longer even alive. You can barely make it out, or even Lanier, you know, and it's great to see these short tracks and these big tracks, you know, that are so historic still live on today in iRacing.
Yeah, no doubt. And there's one thing I must say. You said Le Mans in Italy. Le Mans is actually in France, but I'll let that slide. You're an oval guy. You're not a road guy. It's my responsibility to let you know that. So we're gonna.
I said Monza.
Oh, you said. Oh, I thought you said Le Mans. I apologize.
No,
Monza,
I said the Monza Oval.
Monza is indeed in Italy, and we are green. Speaking of Italy, they've got green on their flag. That's your geography lesson of the day. We are green here in the Tobacco Road Next Gen Series.
Oh, looks like they're going to wave it off.
And it looks like we might be yellow again. Chris Perry has had a little bit of a moment. We'll go back and take a look at that. Yeah, coming to the green.
Oh, my gosh.
To the green, Chris Perry is just unfortunately in the grass. We'll go back and take a look at how exactly that happened. Oh, and it looks like it started with a pile-up, a few cars in advance. It looks like the number 3, who would be Scott Broker, maybe got on the gas just a little too hard.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Yeah, that's...
Spun it.
Yeah, can't really be doing that. So
I
very
think Chris Perry just wanted to run on the... I was going to say, I think Chris Perry just wanted to run on the quarter mile.
Yeah, I think that might be the situation too. Chris Perry sitting there in the back in dead last, unfortunately, but he is still trying. All cars still out on track, even though we've got 7 cars, I apologize, that are not on the lead lap.
So I'm just going to put this out there, Max, since you were saying you're a Dale Jr. fan, and me, myself, grew up a Dale Jr. fan. There was a tweet put out today by Jr. Motorsports and said, dial in the Aiden again. And there's been rumors that Junior's coming back to the O'Reilly Auto Parts series for a part-time schedule. So, run with it what you may, but yeah.
Yeah, that
the 8 might be back.
That would be really cool to see, and I mean, how cool. It would just be such a full circle moment. I mean, Dale Earnhardt Jr., he went from, hungry young rookie. His dad passed away in 01. He just kind of immediately became vetted in the industry after that because, I mean, you talk to an Earnhardt, I mean, racing is Earnhardt. American oval racing runs through the Earnhardt family, so such a heavy mantle to carry at such a young age for Dale Earnhardt Jr. And, he took it and ran with it, made himself, a Daytona winner, made himself a dual winner, made himself, a winner at other places all over the country, and, got his own podcast now, has his own media outlet. And he's kind of just at that point where he can do kind of whatever he wants, and he got to that at a very young age. And, shout out to Dale Earnhardt Jr., man. I've never met him. I've never talked to him. I take that back. I talked to him one time on the iRacing official service. I said one thing to him. He just kind of acknowledged me, as I'm sure he probably acknowledged hundreds of people that day. So nothing too crazy, but he just seems like such a good guy, and so wholesome, and he loves iRacing. He's the global ambassador of iRacing, and he's just a good guy, man.
Well, he's the reason why we got North Wilkesboro back. I mean, they started with just a scan on iRacing, and then all of a sudden we're running the All-Star race in North Wilkesboro in the Clash. So, throw that in there. But also, I just want to add that, talking about Dale Earnhardt Jr., it was announced the other day that following the duels, there's going to be a new documentary coming out live on Fox Sports 1. It's going to be called We Lost Dale Earnhardt, because it's the 25th anniversary of the tragic death of one of, if not the NASCAR legend, of the Intimidator at Daytona.
Yeah. That's going to be a very good watch. I suggest anybody interested in American oval racing, go watch that when it drops. But we've got the iRacing official pace car. Lights are out. We're going to be green here shortly. I want to remind everybody who's viewing at home, we are taking a stage break at lap 60. Will be a caution, free pit stops, all of that stuff. Your only commercial break of the night will be at that stage break. So get ready for that and don't go anywhere when that happens. But for now, you surely would like to be seated because we are green here again at Kentucky. Well, called it a little early, but we are green here at Kentucky.
Yeah, and right off the bat, GT Arizari gets a great launch, but looky right here, Mac. Here comes Travis Everett, just like I was saying, moves into the number 2 spot.
Yeah, he is cooking right now, and someone else who's cooking, last week's race winner at Iowa, James McRae, in that number 27 Cinema Roll car, doing his best there, getting chased by James Johnson. He's on the inside of the 77 of Casey Gross. Casey Gross, someone who we know has the pace, but doesn't find himself in that spot all too often. The Sarasota, Florida driver trying to work his way on the 81 of Brandon McLaughlin. Brandon McLaughlin does take a little bit of an unoptimal line, suboptimal line, if I may, going into turn number 1. Coming out of turn number 2, he's going to keep the pace ahead of Casey Gross.
Yeah, Gross just trying to find a way around McLaughlin. But I was just going to add, we were talking about James Johnson. Did you see the Daytona trophy that he will be receiving?
No, I did not. No.
Yes, it was. I saw it in the Discord. It's a great looking trophy. Pretty cool looking. So I think that gets these guys hungry that they want to go get one. So it'll be interesting to see who ends up getting that trophy tonight.
Yeah, very, very cool stuff. James McRae in that number 27. He's sticking it to the bottom. He's doing everything right. Unfortunately, that car behind him, James Johnson, in that number 48, Camaro, might have something to say about it. Meanwhile, Travis Everett has ran a faster lap than GT Irizarry. Brandon McLaughlin is going to be credited with the purple lap of the night. It is a 30.47. But last lap, it was Travis Everett who was the better man, better driver on that lap by just a little bit. Casey Gross has got some pace too. James McRae, back of your screen there. He's going to hit the wall. It's going to be 4 wide now for P6. And the 12 of Chris Toppings is going to get into the 27 of McRae, who then in turn gets into the 48 of Johnson. There's the 99 going around. That's the 47, John Smith. It's a crash. It's a collision. It's chaos. It's the catalyst to catastrophe. And whoa, that's going to be a lot of drivers with a whole lot of damage. It started with Johnny Thunders. We'll go take a look at it in your Nexus Racing blimp cam. Johnny Thunders is going to take, unfortunately, the hardest hit, it seems. We'll rewind it a little bit for you guys. You can maybe see a little bit of it in slower motion. It all started 2 corners back. James McRae got in, or Chris Toppings got into James McRae. In turn, gets into the 48. That's Johnson. 27 of McRae, 48 of Johnson. You can see Johnson still sideways. He's trying to dip down onto the inside. 99 comes up. 24 is going to hit the 99. I mean, it's like a freeway pileup at that point. It's just interstate traffic. 47 of John Smith going to tap the 27 of James McRae. 7 of Scott Matthews.
A lot of Arca brakes.
The 7 of Scott Matthews going to get by, but Johnny Thunders is going to also cause Chad Lancaster to get hit. That's the 21, also taking a little bit of damage, and the 3. So a big, big wreck there.
Yeah, definitely. I want to point out Scott Toppings. Look at that scheme. What does that say on it? Golf?
Chris Toppings? Really. Is that who you're talking about?
Yes, Chris Toppings. I couldn't see what was on the front.
Yeah, he's rocking that Delta Waterfowl scheme.
Delta Waterfowl.
I think all Quack Pack drivers are rocking that tonight.
I'm surprised he's not running, he ran the Intex oil car. I'm surprised he's not running the CT oil exploration and cattle car scheme. So, little Landman joke there for our Landman fans out there.
I haven't seen the show, but I have heard very good things about it. Mr. Landman, Billy Bob Thornton, doing a good job. One of his first lead roles in a long time. He obviously known for his earlier roles in... I just blanked on the movie title. Now my complete point is just gone and away. But I promise I've seen a Billy Bob Thornton. Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Bad Santa.
Yeah.
Bad News Bears.
Bad News Bears.
The list goes on.
Yeah. That's the one I was thinking of. Bad News Bears. That's the one I watched as a kid.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Thought you were thinking Bad Santa. That was it's always a great Christmas movie.
As we line back up lap number 53, we're behind the iRacing official pace car again. Lap number 53, it'll be 54 next time they go round. And remember, guys, I said we have a stage break lap number 60. So do not go anywhere. That's coming up. And then after that, we are straight racing until the end. As the drivers of the Tobacco Road Cup Series starting to form back up behind this pace car. Nate Lesko in the number 20. Casey Gross in that 77. Travis Everett in the 33. All looking for a spot up at the top. GT Irizarry choosing to pick that high side, that third lane. Way up, and it's going to help going into 3 and 4. Turns 1 and 2, it's a big disadvantage. But 3 and 4, if you're on that top side, you can get a whole lot more momentum going around the corner, and you can obviously keep your speed up. And GT Irizarry is thinking if he can just keep his car parked up there for the opening lap, then it should net him some positive benefits. Sure, all 5 of these top 5 drivers are thinking the same thing. They're all in frame now. These guys are competing. They are aspiring. They are dreaming for a championship here in the Tobacco Road Sim Racing Cup Series. We're in the Next Gen car. We're at Kentucky. And as soon as GT Irizarry presses that loud pedal, we are green here at Kentucky.
What a restart by GT Irizarry. He's just on top of it, but right there, Mac, Travis Everett able to get right behind, and here comes Lesko on the outside of McLaughlin.
Yeah, GT Irizarry, he got the good jump. You see, we're hopping on board with him real close to that wall here at Kentucky, and we are yellow again here in Kentucky. As I'm not entirely sure what happened. Oh, well, looks like Thomas McLaughlin is unfortunately sideways, as I'm sure something horrible has happened to him. As, whoa, we just get straight into the action. Apologize about that, folks. We'll have to go back. The new iRacing Live timing update has been very, very sketchy. Events, such things, and we can see right there, that's the number 5 going around. That's going to be the start of it. Number 5, driven by Brandon Lopez. That's going to cause a whole bunch of stuff to happen. There's the 36 getting into the 9. That's the 36 of Thomas McLaughlin.
Bang!
Yeah, the Hefzibah, Georgia driver. Not in a very good spot. There's the number 3 again being collected in that good, rich Camaro. And James McRae, as you see on the bottom of your screen, he's sideways again. The 21 sideways again. It's absolute chaos.
Yeah, look at that. Johnny Thunder's involved also. Several drivers involved in this late race, in this late caution, not late race.
Yeah, so I'm not entirely sure how they're going to structure this stage break. I assume with all of the drivers pitting in, they might just void the stage break. I'm not entirely sure. We'll have to play it by ear and see when we get there. But GT Irizarry has been on fire here tonight. Same with Travis Everett. And I'm sure as a top 5 guy, it's got to be frustrating, and it's got to be, you know, berating to put together all your, you know, effort, all your pace, all your might, all your racecraft to try to get these positions. As I think, yeah, the reaction to that was Travis Everett beating GT Irizarry off of pit road. So I believe that's going to be Travis Everett taking that lead back. And, you know, I was saying with all these cautions, these top 5 guys might get complacent. They might get content with being here. And obviously you can see right there, it might have just bit GT Irizarry in the butt, because it seemed like he was maybe a little asleep coming off a pit road, and Travis Everett taking advantage and taking that spot away.
Yeah, and here's the interesting thing, Mac. Lesko, Oliverio, Lancaster, and Preston and Adams did not pit. So that means Everett's going to be starting in 6th and Irizarry in 7th. So that'll be interesting. Like you said, are we going to go back to a shootout for the stage, or is this going to beat the stage break?
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. Nate Lesko, we know he loves to make those long runs work. We know he loves to stretch those tires out as long as they can go. He's doing it here, last pitted on lap number 35. So he's coming up on 30 lap old tires. So we'll have to see what exactly that means for the number 20. John Oliverio up 8 spots. He is currently sitting in P2. A guy who, if I'm not mistaken, I believe this might be his debut race. I don't remember seeing him in any of the other races. I apologize deeply if that is not the case. But he, whether he's debuting or not, is up here in P2. He's got himself a good car. He's got a good drive going. Let's see if he can get a good result.
think this might be his first race, Mac, because he was not in Daytona, and if you didn't see him at Iowa, then this might be his first race.
Oh, yeah, it very well could be. So very interesting, very intrigued to see how the rookie driver does here in week number 3. Nate Lesko will choose the bottom lane. And we are coming around, starting lap number 59. Here at Kentucky, we are green again, and I'll be honest, Emmett, I can't count how many times we've had to start this race or restart this race. I'm sure we're up into the ballpark of 6, maybe 7.
Gotta get that reference in there.
Gotta get them in. I'm getting paid. I'm getting paid by TikTok every time I say it. No, I'm just kidding. But Nate Lesko, somehow in, the scene of me making a 6-7 joke, has stretched out the lead to 1.2 seconds. Not entirely sure what's going on with Nate Lesko here, but he's cooking.
Yeah, definitely. And I thought I saw somebody getting sideways coming to that line. But, yeah, Lesko's doing a great job as Preston all the way up to second after being involved with his hood flapping off. So I'm guessing, Mac, these guys had a fast repair.
Yeah, they do have a fast repair. Curtis Preston in that Jimmy John's 29, currently sitting P2 from Georgetown, Kentucky. A whole lot closer to this racetrack than I am, so it's more of a home race for him than it is for me. But we'll see what he can get done. Commentator, I can't be biased, I can't be partial. But I do hope to see Curtis Preston get a good result here tonight. But these guys in the second pack, Blake Cannon, Brandon McLaughlin, GT Irizarry, you're riding on board with McLaughlin now. These guys are packed in tight.
Yeah, they definitely are, and Curtis Preston is definitely freaky fast. But as we see right here, Brandon McLaughlin trying to get up here as he's trying to get around Oliviero. Right here, as Cannon's in front of them.
Yeah, and I agree. I mean, Brandon McLaughlin, he's choosing to go this third lane. He's getting real high up on this racetrack when if he could just set his car down on the yellow line, I'm sure it would net him a few positions. As the 81, I guess he believes his car to be faster going around the top side of the track. But you see it there as well. Brandon McLaughlin just sitting up there, taking the higher banking. Maybe he likes the momentum it gives you coming down the back straight. I mean, you cannot argue with the run that he just got on John Oliverio. They are side by side now. Here comes GT Irizarry. He has entered himself into this conversation. He started this restart P9. He's all the way up to P7 right now. And he is looking to take that top spot back.
Yo, GT's looking good as he's coming up here working on Blake Cannon and Brandon McLaughlin, but he just can't get up beside him as now Cannon's trying to get us beside McLaughlin for the position.
Blake Cannon up 17 spots. He started this race in P23, currently sitting at P6 in that number 44. It's a red and pink car. I'm not entirely sure what it says on the side. That's going to be heavy wall contact by the 77. That's going to be maybe a little bit of right side damage. Not too bad, though. We stay on board here with Blake Cannon. It's going to get chippy. Heading into turns 3 and 4, that's McLaughlin, and that's Gross in front of him. So these guys doing their best to try to catch up to Curtis Preston. But the top 3 right now seem pretty set. Curtis Preston obviously going to be in the most vulnerable position to get overtaken. He's last of the 3 drivers, but here comes Casey Gross. Took that top side, taking a little bit of a Brandon McLaughlin line, and he is going to stick it down low onto Curtis Preston, and that is going to be a clean overtake. But maybe a little too much speed. Curtis Preston going to try to hit the switchback on him. It's going to be a drag race to the line here. Preston does have the advantage going into turn number 1. It's getting chippy between these 2 drivers.
Yeah, definitely. What a slide job by Gross. But yeah, Preston able to fight right back on the inside with the crossover. And now Preston is actually going to try to take the number 3 spot away from Gross, as Gross is able to hold it if he can just make it stick right there, and he does. Casey Gross with a heck of a move right there to the 3rd spot.
Yeah, and Blake Cannon there also inserting his name into the hat. It's going to be just a, scene of despair, a scene of disaster for Curtis Preston. He was sitting P3. Now he's about to lose his P4 spot to Curtis Preston. He's getting bullied out of the line. He's got to keep his car stuck in the inside here. It's the 44 versus the 29. Blake Cannon versus Curtis Preston. Lap number 69, starting number 70. Nice. And we are just a little over halfway through this race here, but Nate Lesko still out in front. He's loving all of this battling going on. You can see him towards the left side of your screen there. He's already almost halfway down the back straight by the time they're coming out of turn number 4. The 44 of Blake Cannon going to try to send it up on the inside of Casey Gross. He's going to have to cut his momentum and also cut his losses as they come around and start lap 71. These guys are going back and forth.
Yeah, definitely going back and forth as we see Cannon try to get under Gross here for the number 3 spot. Cannon right there on the back bumper of Gross. Just can't find enough air to get enough of a run back to get around Gross for the number 3 spot.
Yeah, it's one thing to catch someone. It's a completely other thing to overtake them. That's one of the first things you learn when you come onto the iRacing official service. You'll notice it's really easy to catch these guys in a NASCAR, but it's really hard to overtake them, and these guys are the top of the top. We are in the upper echelon of sim racing here at the Tobacco Road Sim Racing Series. Blake Cannon starting to drop off just a little bit in pace. Casey Gross solidifying that P3 position, but Blake Cannon is not gonna go down without a fight. He is still trying, and there's the run he needed. You said it earlier, Emmett, he could not get enough air to his side to sling past the number 77, but he just did it there at probably the harder spot to overtake, the front straight opposed to the back straight.
Yeah, and the thing was, Mac, I thought Cannon was going to pull the slider right there, but he was able to get enough of a run where he didn't have to, and he was just able to get that air where he could just get around Gross and just slide, just put it in front of him instead of pull the slide job.
Yeah, Blake Cannon running the fastest lap of everyone on the grid that last lap. It is not your purple lap, but of lap number 72. Blake Cannon was the fastest. So currently sitting as your fastest guy on track, Blake Cannon in that number 44. These guys are beating the wall down coming out of turn number 4. But as we get close to being 2/3 over with this race, things are starting to shape into something a little more familiar. We've got Nate Lesko, Travis Everett, and Brandon McLaughlin inside of the top 5. However, the anomaly of the night, Blake Cannon, Casey Gross in P3 and 4 respectively. And, they're fast guys, but this isn't typically where they are.
Yeah, this ain't where they are usually. And, Blake Cannon ran really good at Daytona and just once again got caught up in a late race wreck coming to I believe the white flag. So Blake Cannon really rebounded tonight here and trying to get a good finish for his points here in the Tobacco Next Gen Series.
Yep, for sure. We ride on board with Travis Everett, the man of the hour. It's the guy Blake Cannon is trying to pass, and it looks like he might actually get it done into turn number 1. Blake Cannon is on fire right now. This is his race here tonight.
Yeah, but I think he's going to have a caution. But, I mean, he's got enough time to catch up to Everett and then eventually get up to, got enough time to get up to Lesko as he passes Everett for a second. Blake Cannon's on the move, Mac.
He is 100% on the move, and he is moving that car very, very fast. This is like when you'd watch Carmelo Anthony 2011, 2012 carrying that absolute trash can Knicks team all the way to the playoffs. You tune into a Knicks game. Carmelo Anthony's got 35 points. He's hitting layups. He's hitting threes. He's hitting dunks. He just seems to do no wrong, and that's exactly what this number 44 looks like right now. He is number 44, but he's up 22 spots into P1. From P23 all the way to P1. What a story it would be for Blake Cannon to win this race.
Yeah, and I want to know what happened to Nate Lesko, because, you know, Lesko was the leader.
Yeah.
Must have had to
let's
pit.
go. Yeah, bringing it in for a routine pit stop. Now, if we stay green, this might be a really, really bad sight for Nate Lesko. 58 laps left in the race. We're on 50% fuel, Emmett. I mean, I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, but 50% fuel, there's no way he can get 58 laps, is there?
You know, I don't think there is, and that's a good question, you know. And I forgot to ask the drivers when I was talking to them how this pit window is going to play out. But yeah, this is wild for sure. Nate Lesko, you know, showing that he can't do it, but maybe Blake Cannon can.
Yeah, Blake Cannon did pit on lap 56 along with most of the grid here. So I assume they are going to have to also pit. I mean, I'm sure you cannot get 80 laps on a single fuel cell. So we're going to see something now for Nate Lesko. He needs a yellow bad here. But if you're Blake Cannon here in the 44, you might also want a caution. Because, I mean, when you think about it, Blake Cannon, we've had a lot of cautions here tonight. He has just been inching his way up the grid with every single yellow we have. And I'm afraid if we stay green and go for a long stint, Blake Cannon might get his spot overtaken. But if we can keep getting cautions, they can keep being on those fresh tires and keep being the fastest car on the circuit, that would net nothing but wins there for Blake Cannon.
Yeah, that would be something for sure, as we've seen that Cannon has been out for 15 laps. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong thing. 50 pitted on lap 56 just like everyone else. But looky right here, as well, let me look real quick. Oliverio last pitted on lap 52, so we should be seeing him come in soon, shouldn't we, Mac?
Yeah, we definitely should. I mean, we've got 53 laps. We're on lap number 83. These drivers doing lap number 83. And, yeah, everybody's going to have to pit. This first cycle should be coming in pretty soon. It's going to be most of the grid, and it seems like a lot of people pitted on lap 56. But John Oliverio, Curtis Preston, your only two drivers, and Chad Lancaster, I apologize, you're only three drivers inside of the top 10 to pit on that lap number 52. So they're going to be the first cycle if we don't get a yellow. And then we're going to see 90% of the grid come in a few laps later. They are going to be on the second cycle. So it's going to be interesting to see how these strategies line up. Did the overcut pan out? Will the undercut pan out? You know, it's a little bit of both for Nate Lesko. He undercutted the next pit stop, but by doing that, he overcutted the first pit stop. So, you know, it's a very, very weird thing to do in the iRacing official service. It's very weird. It's very hard. It's very challenging to get your pit strategy perfect. I mean, in real life, we see a lot of these, or I guess all of these NASCAR guys have their own, you know, pit crew, pit strategist, crew chief, all of the above. So the drivers are just being fed and told, you know, what the most optimal strategy is. We've got algorithms, we've got outlooks, we've got forecasts, we've got everything. So these guys on the iRacing official service, they've got to be their own pit crew. They've got to be their own crew chief. So, you know, what's that like, Emmett? And, you know, how hard is it to plan all those aspects in advance?
Well, you know, the thing is with the drivers, you know, they have all these analytics, and they have, you know, their logistics people, trying to map it out, rather than the old days where crew chiefs were crunching all the numbers on the calculator, trying to pick how many laps they could go and everything. And, we don't get that luxury. Maybe we will in the future, but right now, you got to think about, okay, so this guy came in at this lap. So how far can I make it till I have to pit? And that's when you rely on your spotters and your crew chief to really tell you how much fuel you got. And you definitely are clicking over to that black box to see how many laps you can go for sure.
And so we've got the number 44, Blake Cannon, still in first. He is going to be one of your LNG Power Sports drivers. We'll cash it in again. Shout out to Mr. Bonner and LNG's Power Washing LLC out of Millersburg, Pennsylvania. Very, very good folks over there. Hit them up for all of your power washing needs. We'll flash the business card as Blake Cannon comes into the pit lane. He is going to take his green flag pit stop here on lap number 89. Casey Gross not opting to pit. The same with GT Irizarry. So we've got the cycle starting to unfold. Toppings, Jordan, Lancaster, Matthews, and Oliverio are all in the pit lanes. Blake Cannon, of course, was your leader. He is pitting now. Current leader is going to be Casey Gross, who pitted on lap number 56. So like I said, we're going to see a little bit of a two-cycle kind of strategy here. We've got a majority of drivers who are going to pit in here very, very shortly. As Irizarry, Brayland, Topping, Harris, Baroker, all in. Casey Gross, one of the only cars out on track as everybody's getting their pit stops done. Ideally going to be the last one of the night. We've got 45 laps left here, Emmett. And, I always ask you, I come to you for the oval stuff because you're the oval guy. I'm the road guy. That's kind of it. That's been talked about. Everybody knows that by now. So tell me, Emmett, you're in a, two-cycle pit stops. You're coming in for ideally your last pit stop. What's the mindset? What's the frame of mind? What's the strategy going into these last 45 laps?
Well, you don't want to make any mistakes. You don't want to speed. You don't want to, get that penalty of crossing the track too early and your night will be over. And it's all about, how can I jump somebody, for James Johnson, for example, when he was behind Cannon or Cannon behind Lesko. They're thinking about, okay, how can I jump them on the cycle and try to stay out in front? And I think that's why Cannon stayed out as long as he could, just trying to see if he could get ahead of Lesko. So when he leaves the pits, stay out in front, as we see Lesko's coming up quick, though.
Lesko currently sitting in P3. He is going to be on that first cycle. He pitted at lap number 77. Just to keep it in tune with everyone else, most of the grid pitting on laps 86 to 89. So about 10 laps ahead of schedule is the Nesquik 20 of Nate Lesko. Will that help him? Will that hurt him? I am personally of the idea that it is going to hurt him. I don't think he's going to be able to make it around here until the end. He'd have to do a whole lot of fuel saving to the point where it wouldn't even be worth it. So Nate Lesko, although he leads the race now, unfortunately, might not be leading here in, let's say, 20 to 30 laps.
Yeah, and just looking at the gap, he's got 2 seconds behind Everett. And so that's going to make him, chew up his stuff and burn more fuel. Rather, if he had, say, a 5 or 6 or 7 gap over Everett, then he could, really clutch it in the corners and really try to save that fuel, as we see Blake Cannon just rocket around Everett. This is not for position, though, since Cannon is a lap down, just trying to get back on that lead lap. Blake Cannon is.
I unfortunately hate to tell you, Blake Cannon is
I see it.
indeed
Never
on
mind.
the lead lap. This is for position. Blake Cannon with the clean overtake on Travis Everett for P2. Unfortunately, I think for Cannon, Travis Everett did almost, concede the position. I think he's kind of seeing things long-term here, but Blake Cannon is nothing but gun, gun, gun. We've seen it here tonight. He is pushing this number 44.
Yeah, my apologies about that, folks. I misspoke it. I was thinking that Cannon had just got off pit road, but Cannon has been off pit road for quite a bit. So, yeah, Blake Cannon, he tried to jump Lesko, and it's going to be interesting with the tires, how they're going to wear as this run goes on.
And unfortunately for our Chick-fil-A number 47 Camaro, John Smith, he runs 6th, which is a very good position, but he last pitted on lap 73, so he is even further outside the norm than our leader Nate Lesko is. So John Smith in a peculiar position here, pitted on lap 73. He's got to make it to 135. That is 63 laps, if my quick math is serving me correctly. So that is just, hate to spoil it, but I don't think he's going to get there.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to get there either, as Cannon is pacing down Lesko.
Yeah, and
meanwhile,
we keep the camera on Cannon because Nate Lesko, unless I'm being just completely blind to the facts, I don't think Nate Lesko is going to get to the finish line. So our net leader, in theory, is Blake Cannon, but if Nate Lesko can somehow keep this car going for another 37 laps, then, I will eat my words personally. I'll drink a gallon of Nesquik chocolate milk. How about that? If Nate Lesko wins this race, I just don't think he's going to with the strategies and all that came into
Oh my
play.
gosh.
Blake Cannon.
Yeah, and you just see...
Yeah, go ahead, Emma.
I was going to say, you see Blake Cannon just driving the wheels off that thing as he's just trying to find that way to gain as much ground as he can. And he's gaining ground, so he's not going to drive it so hard like we saw him just barrel into the wall, bang! But now we see it right here as Cannon, the fresher tires are going to come into play. Yeah, for sure.
Very quick and very fast is Blake Cannon. He is a little bit wild. You see that car stepping out, the rear end stepping out every now and then. That man loves to drive. Blake Cannon, he ran a 0.3 of a second lap faster than Nate Lesko last time around. Now he's got the dirty air to deal with. Can he prep for an overtake? He's got a good run coming down the back straight. Nate Lesko sets his car in the corner early. Lesko says if you're going to do it, you got to do it the hard way. He's got to take it around the outside here as Nate Lesko is going to get passed and overtaken by Blake Cannon. It was just a matter of time between the 44 and 20. Nate Lesko in almost like a recovery mode now. He knows he's not going to keep the lead. He's just got to lose as little of track space as possible. He's got to try to keep his name towards the top of the grid. And Blake Cannon, unfortunately for all the other drivers on the grid, that might be his checkout moment. It might just be Blake Cannon's night.
I don't know. We talk about first-time winners, and Blake Cannon's in a good spot, but you never know about these Tobacco Road Next Gen Series there, Mac.
Yeah, they are very, very good drivers, very good cars. It's a very fun series. As we see GT Irizarry and last week's winner, James McRae. They are brawling down in turns 3 and 4, coming to the line to start lap number 103. Coming out of turn number 4, it looks like it's going to be advantage Irizarry, but James McRae is not going to give up that easy.
Yeah, James McRae really showing that speed as, got the momentum coming off the win at Iowa. Track that he just loves. As now we see Brandon McLaughlin trying to get around
John Smith.
Let's see who is that? Oh, yeah, John Smith, the Chick-fil-A man. Mac, I went to Chick-fil-A today, tried to get the gold cup, didn't get the gold cup, but it's a great looking throwback cup for sure.
Yeah, I am so out of the loop with Chick-fil-A, I'm not even sure what you're talking about, as my support, my loyalty rides and dies with Popeyes. Let us know down in the comment section below of the live stream, what's your favorite chicken spot? I mean, you got Cane's, you got Zaxby's, you got Chick-fil-A, you got Popeyes, you got Chester's Chicken, Church's Chicken. So, I mean, you've got a whole lot of spots to pick from. Sound off in the comments, and we'll read some out here shortly. Blake Cannon in the number 44, sitting in P1. He's up 22 spots, Emmett. That's 23rd to 1st. Get inside the mind of Blake Cannon. What are you thinking right now?
Just don't make any mistakes. Just hit your marks, and just you almost got tunnel vision because you're up, a 1.15 seconds over Nate Lesko. So you're just thinking, just hit your marks, get through the lap traffic as quick as you can, and just hope those laps just tick away and it goes flag to flag right here.
Yeah, it would be very, very good for the likes of Blake Cannon if he were to survive and advance. He needs something big here if he wants to make an impression, make a dent in that championship. And boy, what a track to get it done at. One of the most technical, one of the best tracks on the iRacing official service, in my humble opinion. Maybe it is the home bias, but Kentucky is one of those tracks you can't treat it like every other oval. It's so specific in how it must be drove. Oh, Blake Cannon.
Oh my gosh, hard in the wall.
Yeah, that's hard in the wall for your leader, Blake Cannon. It's almost commentator's curse. That tunnel vision, well, he had wall vision as he hit the wall coming out of turn number 4, going to kill his pace. Hopefully there's no damage done to that number 44, I apologize. But guy that I wanted to take a look at, number 77, Casey Gross, the Florida driver, he sits in P8. Unfortunately, those dreams of getting a podium are kind of shifting away. They're just ever so slightly crawling away as he is just dropping down into his original spot of P8. That's where he qualified. But your biggest movers of the day will pull that up. Or, I apologize, no, we won't pull it up. We will not pull it up, I apologize. But I would like to tell you, Blake Cannon obviously is going to be your biggest leader, up 22 spots from P23 to P1. Billy Jordan, the number 41 Camry, he is another Quantum Motorsports driver. He sits in P13. He's up 12 spots here tonight. And Brendan McLaughlin, of all people, we typically see him at the front in that I'm sorry, is that a King's Hawaiian? From livery?
Yeah, it looks like it's old Brad Case. Yeah, Brad Case team.
Well, good.
Last year.
Yeah, good on him. I love me some King's Hawaiian. But Brendan McLaughlin up 10 spots, so he is going to be another big mover on the day. And unfortunately, going towards the worst side of it, Brad Harris is going to be down 13 spots. Started this race in P4, now ends up in P17. John Smith as well. We said it was going to happen. Unfortunately for him, he had to take another pit stop as Curtis Preston, Chad Lancaster, Michael Peden, Scott Matthews all into the pits. They are going to have to take a stop as well. So who knows? We might be seeing another pit stop from these lap 80 guys because James McRae is also heading into the pits.
Wow. Yeah, so that's telling me it's going to be close, but I just want to add Joseph Bonner said Chick-fil-A, so kudos to Joseph Bonner. He knows what's up.
No, I'm gonna have to put my foot down here. Popeyes is just otherworldly. It's way better than Chick-fil-A. I mean, come on, guys. Don't believe the Chick-fil-A propaganda. Don't let the big chick get to you. You gotta fall to the light side here at Popeyes. It's very good. They got good rolls. They got very good mac and cheese as well. But that is neither here nor there. They got good chicken as well. Blake Cannon in P1 in the number 44. He just ran a 31.20, which is going to be faster than all of his grid mates inside of the top 5. Travis Everett with a 31.32 last lap. GT Irizarry running a 31.42. It's going to be a 0.49 for Brendan McLaughlin and a 0.37 for Casey Gross, who is now back inside of the top 5. So maybe it wasn't walking away. Maybe it just needed to take a little journey before it came back to him. Casey Gross's podium dreams are still alive here tonight, but he's got to get through some heavy hitters if he wants to get it.
Yeah, definitely. And Casey Gross has drove a heck of a race tonight. In the 77, is that Quantum IRL, I believe?
I believe it's DRL, if I'm not mistaken. All right, we're gonna break immersion a little bit here and take a look at it. ORL potentially.
Is it a D? Is it a O? Who knows?
I'm not entirely sure, but Casey Gross, we've got a very state-of-the-art drone that follows about 6 feet in front of his vehicle perfectly. So Casey Gross,
great job by
great job,
Mac Nelson, our drone pilot and lead commentator.
I do it all, man. I'm like CM Punk on that one episode of Raw when he had to do like 10 different jobs. If you know, you know. That was back. I mean, I was a kid for that one. That was like 2010, 2011. One of the golden ages of professional wrestling, also a golden age for motorsport, but you know, let's be honest, every single day is a golden era for motorsport as we are yellow, and that's your leader, Blake Cannon. He's going to be sideways going into the pits. I'm not entirely sure what happened there. We'll go back and take a look. Everything seemed to be going perfectly fine. But here we see...
Oh, my gosh.
Here we see Blake Cannon. He wants to come into the pits, I think, and wow, that car just... I'm sorry, but I've got to see that in real time, I believe, because that did not... You got to think maybe maybe a money shift or something. Pick it up on the gas pedal, and then he's going to do it again and spin around. He's going to run into Travis Everett. So I'm not entirely sure what exactly happened to the 44 of Blake Cannon. We'll take another look at it one more time. I mean, that car, the back end came around way too fast to be natural, in my opinion. He had to have downshifted or something.
That's what I'm thinking. He downshifted, and when he got on the brake, that's what happened. It went around, but, you know, we saw him make the incredible save earlier, but unable to save that. But I just wanted to add, Mac, this is really going to hurt Nate Lesko because Lesko came in, and now he's shown in P22. 1 lap down.
Oh, yeah, that is not going to be ideal for Nate Lesko. He is, yes, sitting in P22. Not even completely sure if he's at his car or not. It appears he is not. We cannot get a fix on the number 20.
Wow.
And I believe that might be his night over. He is not moving that number 20 Camry, and I guess the strategy, or, you know, the pit stop that he was kind of forced into taking there at around lap number 52 or whatever it was, I think that hurt him the most, and yeah, he is just going to call it a night.
Yeah, and meanwhile, while that was all going around, Casey Gross jumped Travis Everett on pit road and won the race off pit road, and now is your leader.
Yeah, Casey Gross choosing to take those 2 right-sided tires. He only was in pit for 10 seconds as opposed to the rest of the grid that clocked in at about 15 or 16 seconds. So will that strategy pay off for Casey Gross? It's a very, very ballsy move on the behalf of the Quantum Motorsports number 77 driver, but it could be the hero plate that he needs to get himself a win here in the Tobacco Road Cup Series.
Yeah, definitely. And what a move, though. I mean, like you said, you have to have some big cojones to take that move, and it'll be interesting to see if it works out for you.
Yeah, I'm very, very intrigued as we come up on lap number 120 next time by. Looks like we're going to have about 13 or 14 laps here to settle the debate, settle the score here in the Dumpster Fire 200. With all the cautions we've had, that seems to be a pretty fitting name for it.
Yeah, definitely.
As these drivers get set to do battle for hopefully the last time around here. The top 5 currently goes Gross, Everett, McLaughlin, Irizarry, Johnson, and Lopez. That's 6 names. There you go. There's your top 6. Got to shout out Brandon Lopez in that Red Bull 5 when I can. Hasn't had much screen time here tonight. The Raleigh, North Carolina driver. Unfortunately, just kind of a night of collection and, you know, just unfortunate endings for him, but he used that quick repair. He has now sat himself firmly inside row number 3, so...
Something's wrong with Blake Cannon.
Yeah, if anything were to happen, now would be the time. Yes, I agree. Blake Cannon is just kind of going slow here in the 44. I thought for a second it might have been a connection issue, but no, his car is just
Might
slow.
be EOL.
Could be.
I think it's just an EOL.
Yeah, it could very well be an EOL. That is, you know, something that might have happened with unsafe pit entry. Not exactly sure how to penalize it because it was self-inflicted. It was, you know, he did make contact with the 13 of Travis Everett, so I'm sure there are a little bit of punishment to pay there for Cannon. Behind him, Brad Harris, he's had one unlucky night. Go ahead, Emma.
I was going to say he also brought out the caution, and you know this from iRacing. You know, usually the rule is you bring out the caution, you're going to the tail end.
Yep. That is something that a lot of league owners do here on the iRacing official service. As I'm sure if it wasn't a rule, Blake Cannon probably said, yeah, that's on me, guys. I'll go to the back. So Blake Cannon now sitting in P10. He's only 13 spots up, which is still one heck of a show. But he is going to be in P10 now. So he is going to have a long way to make up. We'll have 16 laps when we get to the start-finish line. Casey Gross has the button. It's him and Everett on that front row. We are green again, 15 to go, and we're yellow again.
You know what it might have been? I think Travis Everett might have jumped it.
Travis Everett might have jumped it. It says on the event, John Smith has crashed, and
oh my gosh,
that's going to be what happened. Just a big pile up at the back.
You know what I think it was? When Everett tried that move, he stacked up the field behind him, and you know it's a deal about, you know, you didn't have enough reaction time, and I believe, you know, when we take a look at the replay, I think that's what we're going to see, Mac.
Yeah, I think you are probably correct. We'll take a look here at Travis Everett on that restart, as iRacing did not get the full picture of what we wanted to look at, so we're going to have to go back a little bit. And yeah, you can see it. You can actually see it there when we went in reverse. There's a little bit of a line that gets formed, or a little bit of a gap, I mean, that gets formed in that bottom lane, and I'm sure everybody in the back on that left side, they heard the cars taking off, so they just instinctively pushed the loud pedal, and unfortunately that resulted in a pileup on that bottom line.
Yeah, and then also, you know, just wanted to add, I got to get a telestrator in here so I can draw on that, because I was going to circle it right there where you were talking about. But yeah, you could tell there was and now you see Everett has dropped to the number. Well, he hasn't dropped yet, but that's what I think it was.
Yeah, and Travis Everett, you know, obviously going to hear a little bit from race control, from the race officials, you know, maybe a little slap on the wrist. Don't jump those starts, especially when we're so close to the end here. We've had so many cautions. I'm sure these guys just want to get these laps done and get out of here. 135 laps around Kentucky is no short race whatsoever, and you know, that's the theme here for the Tobacco Road Next Gen Cup Series. These guys are going to have to deal with longevity. These guys are going to have to deal with green flag pit stops, pit cycles, all of that stuff, because this isn't just some official race 20 minutes, 25 minutes in. These guys are going to war for hours at a time each and every week.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, it takes a lot to do this because it affects you both physically and mentally sometimes. Definitely the mentally side outweighs the physical side. But, I mean, you know, you sit there for so long, and like I said, you get tunnel vision when you get down to the end, and, you know, you might make a mistake, and it might cost you the race, and you're mad at yourself, but really it's all right because I've been in that spot several times. I haven't been leading, but I've been in that spot several times. Where you make that mistake and it ends up costing your night. But, you know, we got to remember, this is, these guys go hard and they're very passionate about this, this next gen series for Tobacco Road. And that's what provides the excellent entertainment and, great racing here at Kentucky.
Yeah, and I want to touch on the mental fortitude thing that you just said a few seconds ago. I believe personally that mental fortitude weighs in a whole lot more than just skill alone when you're on, you know, the iRacing official service or just sim racing in general. And the reason I think that is because last summer, when I ran the Nürburgring 24 hours, it was middle of the night, both in real life and in sim time. Middle of the night, I'm leading the race, and I just, you know, tunnel vision. You're exactly right. It's tunnel vision. It's so easy to zone out and make one minute mistake that can mean your past 17, 18, 19 hours that you've ran are just for nigh. And so even though we're on a smaller scale here with, you know, an oval race, and it's not an endurance race, we're only here about an hour and a half, 2 hours, it's still the same gist, though. These guys have to be mentally strong through every single phase of this race. And as we approach what is hopefully our last green flag restart of the night, Casey Gross is going to have to be on top of the mental fortitude. That's not a word. Mental fortitude, because he has got a lot of heavy hitters behind him. And Casey Gross, we've said it a bit on the broadcast here tonight, he is a very good driver. Do not get me wrong about that. But he has got to defend from some very heavy hitters as he now already falls into third. And the two likely suspects, that's Travis Everett in the 13. It's GT Irizarry in the 14. These guys are fighting for a win.
Yeah, and look at right there. It's your Daytona winner, Mr. James Johnson, up here again. But what a run from Irizarry to push that 3 wide, and it stuck. I mean, those guys were running 3 wide with no contact. Great job from them guys, and now Everett's scooting away for a second.
Yeah, and for a second, we had a 3x3 here with the 6 drivers in focus. Lopez, Johnson, Toppings, McRae, Cannon. Cannon is still there. He's still looking for some glimmer of hope to get himself a good finish, as GT Irizarry is going to post your fastest lap with a 30.45, and we are yellow again.
Yeah, I saw the, who was that? Let me look. It might have been Blake Cannon on the apron, or it was Johnny Thunders. I couldn't tell. There was a red car on the apron when we came out of when we were coming into turn 3. So we'll have to take a look and see what happened. But I did see a red car on the apron.
And it looks like, it seems like a lot of people were passing Brandon Lopez, so we have to assume something might have happened with the number 5 car. I'm trying to find it as we go. Yeah, the red car, 81, might have been your guy, Brandon McLaughlin here. Yeah, they're going to get into each other, and that's going to be collecting the 12 of Chris Toppings as well, coming into turn number 1. And Brandon Lopez, I said it earlier, he's had an unfortunate night of collection, and that's going to be another one there. So Brandon Lopez, who seems to be on fire Every week he brings his all. He's a top 10 car in pace, and he cannot see the finish of a race here yet in the Tobacco Road Cup Series season number 2.
Yeah, just a tough break, but that's what I saw. I saw McLaughlin shoot down to the apron, and I was like, whoa, and then all of a sudden the caution came out, so we'll restack them and re-rack them and see what happens.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very, intriguing to see the end of this race. I'm curious to see what the likes of McRae, who's coming off a hot win at Iowa, Blake Cannon, who in my eyes has been, the fastest car of the night around here. It's interesting to see them in P5 and P6. We've got heavy hitters in front of them, but personally, I think Blake Cannon might still be a favorite, even though he sits in P5.
Michael Peden almost took out the pace car. But yeah, definitely. It's going to be interesting for sure. This restart could make or break who wins this race.
Yeah, very, very likely here. We're not going to have very many laps left. Once we do indeed go green, lights are still on the pace car, so we'll have at least another lap around the circuit. And here at Kentucky Speedway, it's going to be electric here tonight. I cannot wait to see who we crown in what is not only my home race, but a couple of guys that I know here, especially Curtis Preston in that number 29 from Georgetown, Kentucky. He started in 12th. He is currently sitting, unfortunately, in P19.
I think he's out of fuel.
That Curtis Preston, you're saying?
No, not Curtis Preston. The car behind him. Couldn't see who it was. It might have been John Smith. No,
John Oliverio, maybe.
Maybe there was a red car on the apron, and they were very slow.
Well, very, very interesting to see. That is something that we probably are going to see. A lot of these guys probably going to run out of fuel. The pit cycle was extremely tight on that last stop, so I'm curious to see what exactly they have to bring. A lot of fuel saving might have to be done for the likes of James McRae. He stopped on lap 111. Not entirely sure what kind of fuel situation these guys have. They're not going to overfuel the car. That is a very quick way to make your car a lot slower than it really needs to be. Oh, it's anyone. It's anyone's ball game here. Lights are out on the pace car. We've got everybody stacked up. It will be 5 laps to go when we go green. Ladies and gentlemen, before we get out of here, before we get green and we get this race under wraps, big shout out to Apex Sim Racing. Use code RacerNexus for 5% off of any sim racing accessory you find and you want on that website. Big shout out to Track Cams for Gourmets. That's trackcams22.com, providing all your car and track cameras here for the broadcast tonight and everywhere across the Racer Nexus network. GT Irizarry on the bottom, Travis Everett on the top. It's been the 2 top guys here, but we've got a young gun in Blake Cannon who wants to take that spot over. We are close, we are tight, we are green here at Kentucky. 5 laps to go.
GT just playing it out in the turn. He wasn't that aggressive as he was on the last restart. But look at this right here. Look at the run James Johnson is getting. As those two side by side, that's going to allow Travis Everett to check out.
Yeah, James Johnson in a fantastic spot, almost in a spot that we saw him in Daytona. He's the ultimate opportunist when it comes to these late race restarts. He seems to have a grasp on them like no other guy here has. And 4 laps to go. Travis Everett has stretched out to a 0.3 of a second lead. That doesn't look like much, but when we've seen how close the racing has been here tonight, yeah, it looks incredible. Blake Cannon gonna beat down the wall like he has been all night. James McRae right behind him in the 27 Camry. He is still the defending winner, and he wants to prove it to everyone here tonight. And, John
Oh, my
Smith's going to
gosh.
hit the corner hard. He's going to hit the wall coming out of turn number 4, taking the Blake Cannon line through there. As now we have Blake Cannon up 19 spots. He's the guy to watch here. He's got the whole world in his hands. In the number 44 Camaro, he's going to have a run on the 14. That's GT Irizarry. We're going to get a wider view as we go to the finish. 2 laps to go. Coming up, Travis Everett is still leading.
Look at Cannon right there. Shoot down to the inside back.
Yeah, Cannon, you saw it on the back of your screen there. He's going to beat down the wall as he sets his car into turn number 1. James Johnson sideways. He's going to save it, James Johnson, and now he does it. We're going to be yellow before the white flag. We are not official. James Johnson going to collect everyone.
Oh, my gosh.
As it is pandemonium here at Kentucky. Wow, that's going to be a lot of cars collected.
I didn't mean to talk over you, Mac, but wow, what a move by Cannon. And then I saw James Johnson save that car, but he just couldn't get it after he got it off the apron. Man, look at this, though. The 44 is back in P2.
Wow, that was fun to watch, although very expensive wreck for most of the field. But we'll go back.
Gosh.
You know, I'm not completely content with where this is starting. We need to go all the way back into turn number 1. Turn number 1. He's going to get sideways off contact with the 14. Look at him. It's like a super late model going around Eldora Speedway as he gets completely sideways. And unfortunately, that's not going to be where it ends. The entire corner, there is slip angle on that number 48 Camaro. And then he is unfortunately going to hit his number mate. That's the 47 of John Smith in the Chick-fil-A scheme. And then it's just all hell breaks loose after that.
Yeah, and, you know, Travis Everett, I was about to say, Travis Everett's probably thinking, boys, y'all played nice, but now he's probably thinking, crap.
Yeah, and I mean, that's at least 12 cars. That is at least 12 cars who have to jump into the pit lane. So in a weird, and I mean weird process of events, your top 4 consist of Travis Everett, Blake Cannon, Brad Harris, Scott Matthews. John Smith is somehow, after all that, still going to be P5. He's going to choose to not pull into his pit. He's not going to repair any of the damage. He had a bad pit strategy. He's gotten collected in 3 wrecks here tonight, and he is still currently sitting where he qualified in P5.
What a run. It's the Chick-fil-A. It's the Chick-fil-A.
It might be the Chick-fil-A. The Chick-fil-A might actually have powers here tonight. I'm not entirely sure.
Well, let me ask you this, Mac. While we're talking about John Smith, are you rocking a 47 brand? Or are you rocking, you know, New Era, Mitchell Ness? What is your go-to lid of choice?
Man, I'm big into New Era, man. Like, you know, they fit my head the best. I got a big head, man. I can't lie to you. I have got a gigantic head, so if I'm putting a cap on, it's gonna be a New Era cap. I mean, I like them. I've got a DeMar DeRozan Raptors signature hat. It is New Era, so that is my, you know, cool hat flex. I used to wear hats a whole lot. They started giving me a headache around when I turned 21 years old. I can't wear them anymore, but yeah, I used to be a very avid cap wearer.
Yeah, definitely. I remember going into lids, you know, catching what was on sale. I've had a 47 brand, you know, I've had New Era, but I gotta say, you know, my go-to, since I got a big head and I wear a 7 5/8, would have to be, you know, a fitted over a snapback or strap back.
Yep, for sure, for sure. I bet you guys didn't think you'd get hat conversation here tonight in the Tobacco Road Cup Series, but here we are. Lights are going to be out on the pace car, the grid looking noticeably smaller. As you can see, there are only about 12 cars, I believe, maybe 14 or 15 cars sitting here in this lead pack. We've got a lot of drivers in the pits. They've been in the pits for a very long while. Johnny Thunders, Curtis Preston, Chris Perry, John Oliverio, Billy Jordan, Brandon Lopez, just to name a few. But now it is time. We will be going to a green, white, checkered. We've got overtime here tonight in the Tobacco Road Cup Series. iRacing official pace car going to pull off, and as soon as these guys make one trip around Kentucky Speedway, we will be official. We are green here at Kentucky. Travis Everett using his time wisely, choosing to go at the last second, maybe trying to play some mind games with the likes of Blake Cannon or Brad Harris behind him. It's been all Blake Cannon here tonight. Your usual suspects, Travis Everett, GT Irizarry. They've all been running towards the top. Nate Lesko as well. But Blake Cannon has been arguably the best car tonight. As the number 44 comes around turn number 4, Travis Everett going to take the white flag. We are official here at Kentucky. One more time around the track, around the great Bluegrass Speedway NASCAR. I can't wait for the day I get to see NASCARs on Kentucky Speedway. Travis Everett, with all things said and done, he boasts a 0.6 of a second lead. We go to the battle for P2. It's Blake Cannon, it's Brad Harris, it's GT Irizarry. Travis Everett gets the win here at Kentucky. Blake Cannon with an unstoppable performance, up 21 spots from P23 all the way to P2. Brad Harris ends the night in P3.
What a run by Cannon. But congrats to Travis Everett. I mean, started P1, finishes P1 after an unbelievable race. Got a little congratulatory bump from GT Irizarry.
GT Irizarry giving the love tap bumps to all the guys that he has fun racing. And I mean, GT Irizarry gotta be one of the most complete drivers on the grid. He's nice, he's respectable, but he's also aggressive and fast. He finishes in P4. James McRae, last week's winner, will round out your top 5. But the man in focus is the man from Belvoir, North Carolina. It's the number 13 Black Rifle Coffee Machine of Travis Everett. And man, that burnout is going for a long time. He is hoping to kill those tires.
Yeah, definitely.
Pit crew not going to be able to reuse those for next week at Watkins Glen, but for a lot of these guys, they are primary oval drivers, but the comfort zone is starting to fade because we go to the iconic Watkins Glen road course next week. It's going to be a fantastic time, and before we get our post-race interviews going, we'll show you the results here for the race tonight here at Kentucky Speedway. Travis Everett going to finish in the top spot. Blake Cannon in P2. Brad Harris, GT Irizarry, James McRae rounding out your top 5. And then we have Johnson, Peden, Smith, Gross, and Toppings making your P10, or making your top 10, I should say. I apologize. Scott Matthews in P11, Chad Lancaster in the 02 in P12, Thomas McLaughlin in P13. Then you have Lopez, McLaughlin, Brayland, Jordan, Broker. If we keep on going, Preston, Oliverio, Thunders, Perry, and Lesko with Cody Adams and Joe Bonner, unfortunately rounding out your bottom half of the grid. And it was, I mean, to be quite honest with you, Emmett, it was a fantastic race. What a show that they put on for my home track here at Kentucky.
Yes, what a race. And, man, I really thought, Blake Cannon was going to have enough to get around. But if he would have got around Brad Harris just a little bit sooner, I think he could have caught up to Everett, but Everett was on it on that restarted. Congrats to Travis Everett. I hope he's enjoying a big old cup of Black Rifle coffee tonight.
I know I will be. That Tactus Squatch Dark Roast is the greatest thing. It's the greatest caffeine nectar you can put in your, body, I guess is the right way to say it. As our first interview of the night is going to be our P2 finisher, Mr. Blake Cannon. Blake, Mac and Emmett up here in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. I got you.
Blake, you got to walk me through it, man. You went to war here tonight. You had a good run, and I said on the broadcast you might have been the fastest car on track here tonight. Walk me through it. How do you improve 21 positions?
Man, it was a sloppy night altogether. I mean, qualifying, hit the wall both laps, so I had to start almost next to last, and then drove my way up to the field the first run, and got to, like, I don't know, sixth or something, and tried to make a aggressive move, and didn't work out, and pretty much spun out. Had to go all the way back again under green, and then I don't know, man, just had a lot of pace, a lot of speed. Just really frustrating to let that one slip away. Just really sloppy race on my end tonight, and I feel bad for my guys because we definitely should have won that one, and let it slip away.
Yeah, well, you might have had the win, but you still finished P2. It's going to be very good for your championship hopes and dreams this season. Speaking of that, I know we got a 20-week calendar, but you kind of got to look to next week. We go to Watkins Glen, going to be the first road course on the calendar this year. Tell me about that, and, do you think you're going to do good?
Road courses are hit or miss for me. I don't love them with this car, but I don't really hate them. So I think there's a good chance that we could run top five, at worst top 10. So get out of there with a good solid points day, and then I feel really good about Texas and extremely good about Bristol. So a lot of good races coming up for me. I got to clean up the races and really try to capitalize on races like tonight when I have the fastest car and just put a race together, which I haven't been able to do the first 3 weeks. So it's just unfortunate.
Yeah, well, we're going to let you get out and celebrate tonight and, get a game plan going to next week at Watkins Glen. But before we let you get out of here, is there anyone you'd like to shout out or thank for the performance here tonight?
I want to shout out Travis. He definitely had the pace, and he deserved to win tonight. So a hell of a race by Travis. He put it all together tonight. So hats off to him. And just everybody at LNG Power Sports. They were in my corner even when I was down and out on myself early in the race for making a lot of bonehead mistakes, and they never let me get down. So James and Joseph, I appreciate them, and everybody at Tobacco Road Sim Racing. It's a lot of fun racing with these guys. They don't make it easy. There's a lot of fast guys, and we had some green flag runs tonight. So good job to everybody. I know at times we had some cautions, but I think we're finding a groove and we're getting better. And just thanks to you guys on the broadcast. It doesn't go unnoticed, and we all appreciate it. And hopefully, we can get one spot better.
Yes, sir. Well, I appreciate the wise, or not wise, but kind words and a lot of wisdom going through the LNG Power Sports team. I'm sure you're in a fantastic place to race. We're going to let you celebrate. Ladies and gentlemen, your P2 finisher here tonight, the number 44, Blake Cannon.
Thanks, guys. And make sure you give Travis a hard time when he gets up here.
Will do, Blake. And speaking of Emmett, you've got our winner here, Travis Everett.
Well, Travis, man, we were talking about it earlier before the race, but congrats on the pole and congrats on putting her back in P1 at the end.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. It was a seesaw battle all night there. It seemed like, man, I didn't know what to do there when Blake got in his little accident coming to pit road there towards the end. I was pretty much banking on just taking fuel there and trying to jump him that way.
So let me ask you this. What's going through your mind? You're coming around almost to the final corner, coming to the white, and then you see the yellow flag waving.
I was kind of prepared for it, maybe 10 seconds before it flew. There was some chatter in the team chat going on. There was wrecking back there. So I was preparing myself. I knew it was going to be a fight there if we did get the yellow.
You didn't pull the window net down, did you?
Oh no, never count that until you cross the start finish line there.
So we shift gears now, going from the ovals. Now we head to the Glen. How are you feeling about Watkins Glen?
Terrible. Be a miracle if we make it there and the hollow don't break down before we get there. Might sabotage it myself.
All right, man. Well, before we let you go, is there anyone you like to thank out there?
Yeah, y'all for broadcasting this for us every Wednesday night. Y'all do a bang up job of it. I enjoy going back and watching these things. All the teammates over there at Outsiders, we put in a few practice sessions this week, and I think it paid off. All of us showed a little bit of speed, and everybody runs this league and puts it on for us every Wednesday night.
All right. Well, congrats. Go celebrate with some Black Rifle coffee, and we'll see you at Watkins Glen next week.
Appreciate it, brother. Y'all have a good one.
All right, you too,
Travis. And that's going to do it here tonight, Emmett. Is there any parting comments you want to make? I mean, we saw everything here tonight.
Yeah, we definitely saw everything. And just like I was saying in the beginning, chatting with those drivers in the garage before I got up here in the booth, it was tires. It was, a lot of, there's going to be, they need to hire LNG power washing to wash this track off with all this grass kicked up off there.
Yeah, without a doubt. You can see LNG's power washing business card up there in the top right. Get any of that information you want, because in the next 5 seconds, count them, 5 seconds, it'll be gone. And there it is. It has been a fantastic night of running here at Kentucky Speedway, man. Oh, man, under the lights here in Sparta, it's just been... Man, it's been an incredible race.
Yeah, it's definitely been an incredible race. And now we shift gears, Mac, to the most famous, probably one of the most famous road courses on the NASCAR circuit, and that being Watkins Glen International Speedway Raceway.
Yes, sir. Obviously, F1 used to run there. They can't anymore. Their cars got a little too big. Hey, 2026 regulations and cost caps might change that, but that is for another time. You guys don't want to hear that. Shout out to Apex Sim Racing for being a partner of Racer NEXUS Broadcasting. If you want any of your sim racing accessories, you can go there. Use code RacerNexus, 5% off. Shout out Track Cams for Gourmets. That's trackcams22.com. They provide all the car and track cameras you see on the Racer NEXUS Broadcasting Network. Big shout out to the Tobacco Road Sim Racing Series for allowing us to broadcast the Wednesday night Next Gen Cup Series. That's a masterclass every single time we're in town. And if you want your race broadcasted by Racer NEXUS, you can find the link to all of that to get with my boss, Rob Campbell, the best guy in the world, the best producer in the land. He can get you set up. We can get something going here. If you want to join the Tobacco Road Sim Racing Series, the League Discord can be found in the video description below. That is going to do it for us here tonight. Mac Nelson, Emmett Crow in the broadcast booth, part of Racer NEXUS Broadcasting. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. We'll see you next time.